was, Dad, if you stop touching it? No, it was perfect where it was. Thank you so much.
We're live.
I appreciate it. So much, though. Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, sweetie.
Nice. Oh, what a great thing.
She's very patient, Travis.
See, this is why we need speakers.
Yes,
Dance.
we do.
Because last week we were dancing. I was dancing. And everybody's like, everybody's probably watching, like, what's this chick doing?
Mike the car, all right.
David Allen joined.
David Allen.
Thanks for tuning in, David Allen. Oh. Not allowed to make a joke like, where's my water? Oh, it's hiding behind my.
It's his.
Did you just joke about paper? Never mind, it's terrible.
Here's a joke about what?
Joke about paper. Have you heard the joke about paper?
Oh. No,
Brantley, what's up, buddy?
it's terrible.
You like
Killing me,
it.
Sloth. Killing me.
Yeah,
Done. Done.
Have you heard the joke about paper?
No.
Never mind, it's terrible. I laugh harder than other people.
I'm waiting for the credit.
But I thought, I don't give you credit for things. You need to learn this. It's my joke.
It is not your
Just
joke.
because you
I'm
don't
just not
want
gonna
to
give
look
you
it up
one
does
now.
not mean you
I'm not
can't
gonna give you
joke.
one anymore. Don't tell me the joke now.
That was it. Never mind, it's
It's terrible.
terrible.
Paper,
Terrible. Yes.
That's okay.
Such a dumb joke, right?
It is so terrible. It's such a terrible joke you didn't even get it.
Did you hear about the rumor about the butter? No, I don't want to spread it.
Joe's like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, what time
Alright.
did I just step into? Here. Alright. Nope. Nope.
How's my hair look?
Terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. Okay.
Welcome to the Epic
yet.
Love.
Jesus Christ.
I thought you said it
first.
was going
And
down.
I did your music.
Scared me. Jesus.
I'm like, what the heck?
That was awesome. Oh man.
No false starts.
Well, can you hear that? Hasn't started yet.
Welcome. To the Epic Love Radio Show.
Welcome.
Blair, you gotta move your mic over.
Aloha.
Okay.
Hola. I can't say it. I can't do it now.
You want me to do it?
What? Tag team it? Okay.
Welcome.
to the Epic Love Radio Show, episode number 55. That's it. Double Cincos. Wow. My name is Travis Suit, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, the one and only.
Blair McKnight. Hello.
Where's Blair, everybody? Oh, there she is.
Hello.
And she's got jokes. Just stick around. Don't go anywhere. The Epic Love Radio Show is brought to you by the Piper's Angels Foundation. The Piper's Angels Foundation mission is to support and empower families in the cystic fibrosis community. You can learn more at pipersangels.org. And we are here, traveling through space and time here at the studio in Jupiter, Florida. Inlet Properties, big shout out. Thank you, Inlet Properties, for hosting us here at our studio space. Inspiring stories of love through action. This is our tagline and motto. That's what we do. And boy, we have an inspiring story for you today. So stick around, listen up. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors: Secor Island Line, Certera Wellness, Margaritaville, Hensler Financial, Vertex Pharmaceuticals, Integrity Square and Halo Talks, Flying Fish Board Company, ABC Financial, Health Career Institute, Dixie Vodka, Power Design, Tanker Oil, Talent Stoke, and Peter Marcus Coaching. Woo! Wow! Yes. So thank you to all of you wonderful, amazing sponsors for making it happen. Hold on. What a refreshing sip of hidden water. Stick around, you will learn more about hidden water. Don't overlap at my sippage. Did you not like the
No,
technique?
I'm totally laughing because you did not get why I'm showing you the can of Hidden Water to say Hidden Water is also a provider for the Crossing for a Cure this year.
Yes, we're gonna have lots of hidden water on the boats at the time when you need it most. When you're getting baked by the sun in the middle of the ocean, outside of shore, after paddling for 10 hours, when you're sweating and you are ready to call it a quits, you will crack open a can of hidden water.
And
it
find some hidden energy.
Yes! Yes! Wow, nice delivery. Nice delivery. Yes, so we have Jeff Irish in studio here with us. Say hello to the camera and everybody out there in Facebook land, Jeff.
Hello, everyone.
And we have our sound guy, Jason.
Hello.
A delayed hello.
Well, I gotta unmute the mic, so. It's like, yeah.
The same thing happened last week.
Well, I never
We'll
know
get
when
this
you're
one
gonna say
day.
hi or not, so I'm just like, I'm trying to stay muted until I need it.
We gotta keep you on your toes.
That's the job as an engineer.
And for everybody tuning in, thank you to Jennifer, and Nikki, and Paul, and Heidi, and Paul again, and Brantley, and David, and everybody out there in Facebook land for tuning in and watching live or on playback. If you're watching, right up here in episode 55, Jeff Irish, title of the episode, you can click on that. What they're about, who they are, who Jeff is yet. I'm just going to presumptuously say that you must click and like and follow because they're amazing and you just have to trust us and we will get to that. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about Crossing for a Cure updates.
Sweet.
Yep.
Go for it. Just
So
go.
I'm not going to wing it here. I mean, I want to be accurate in my information.
All right, fine. I'll do it. Okay, so hey, Daria, thanks for tuning in. Brian, VP, big love. Thank you for tuning in as well. So yes, Crossing for a Cure update. Some of you may have seen, if you're on the Crossing group page and you're a participant this year, you may have seen my Facebook Live earlier today. We covered a lot of good stuff, but today is the day. We are 30 days out from the Crossing. Oh my goodness. We are counting down the days. We're going to be into the 20s soon, and then the teens, and then single digits, and then we're going to be in Bimini, and then we're going to be paddling across the ocean. So for everybody out there who is maybe following along, a paddler or a captain or crew that is participating, please support them in their journey, whether it's through fundraising or just give them a call, a text of encouragement, and say, hey, I know that you're going to be paddling 80 miles across the ocean. You can do it. Some positive encouragement goes a long way.
Just like that. Hey, you're going to be paddling 80 miles, and I just want to support you.
It's very important.
Yep.
It's very important. No, seriously though, or sincerely though, encouragement from the community of people who have been a part of your fundraising, who have, are your friends and family. This is the time. It's crunch time. I hear the nerves in people's voices when I talk to them. They're getting anxious. They're making plans and preparations. They're about to get on a boat and go to the Bahamas and do something that is probably at the top of their list of one of the biggest challenges of their life. So definitely a shout out. And with all of that being said, we are currently at 78% of our fundraising goal this year at $387,706.
Great job, everyone.
Wow. And that's with 30 days to go. And this is the time to ramp it up. So if you are a participant, keep sharing your CrowdRise updates on training. Keep giving the shout outs on social media. And you'll see this swell of community and love that'll wash over this entire fleet in an event and we are marching quickly towards our goal, and I think we'll even exceed it. So keep an eye on it. Check out CrowdRise, and thank you to everybody who has made a contribution. Big thank you from the Piper's Angels Foundation and from all of our sponsors, and for all of our sponsors who we mentioned earlier. Thank you for the support. We couldn't have gotten this far without you. I was looking at some of the numbers from the last few years, and Piper's Angels Foundation as a 501c3 is 28 months old. In 28 months, what we've been able to accomplish as what we like to say an army of angels, of volunteers. We have 2 full-time employees, myself and our assistant director, Ayana Sugarman. It's really amazing. And when it boils down to it, it's a direct transference from every ounce of energy that goes into this event in terms of our ability to accomplish our mission through the Piper's Angels Foundation as a platform of advocacy for the cystic fibrosis community and for these families. We like to say we're a CF family fighting for other CF families. My sisters have cystic fibrosis. My daughter Piper has cystic fibrosis. We've been deeply affected by the disease, and there are a lot of aspects of what these families go through that we're fighting for. You can learn a lot more on our website at pipersangels.org. You can check out our Gold Seal status of transparency on GuideStar, and come out to one of our upcoming events. Be a part of the community if you're local, and join in, because there really is. This is what Epic Love was born out of. This concept, this idea of people, inspiring stories that's transcending just your everyday into something that is powerful and making a difference in the world. And Jeff, you're a big part of that. We want to welcome you and thank you for being here in the studios with us. And we're really excited to hear the story behind Hidden Water.
Yeah, and a great event for people to attend and come be part of the family would be our Crossing Pre-Party this Saturday.
Yes!
Yay!
Pre-party.
Yeah.
So the pre-party is going to be awesome. It's at Lake Worth Beach Club, 6 to 9 p.m. Facebook event is up and live. There's going to be a bounce house. I'm going to be in the bounce house.
I was going to say, is that for the kids or the adults?
There's going to be a magician.
Oh, even better. Okay.
There's going to be complimentary hors d'oeuvres.
Should I tell jokes there?
Yes.
Okay.
There's going to be a comedian.
Just booked. Just scheduled.
And if you look close enough, there's going to be Hidden Water. No, seriously though. So the event is it's coming up this Saturday. There's going to be live music. We're going to have sponsors on hand. I think we're going to have a great turnout. All the energy, all the excitement is building into the final stretch here with just a few weeks to go to the crossing. It's time to celebrate all of the amazing people that are a part of this community and come together and look at each other, look each other in the eyes and acknowledge each other for the amazing efforts that we've made, and really cherish in that moment together.
Jeff, will you be there?
I will.
Awesome. So
Way to put him on the spot.
I'll bring my wife and kids as well.
I am so excited. How many children do you have?
I have 3 boys.
3 boys. Wow. Awesome. My husband's one of 3. So I know how that is. I hear from my mother-in-law all the time. Yeah, it's a little crazy.
Luckily, my sister Nikki had 2 boys. They went for a 3rd, took a risk, and they got a girl. So she got what she was looking for a little princess. So we're very excited to have little Kayla in the family.
Beautiful. Oh, that's the name.
Yes.
I never did hear. Kayla.
I still have a hard time saying it because I feel apprehensive. My sister, they didn't provide a name for the child
Okay.
until a little bit later. They were making a delayed decision, but the decision has been made. And they will be there on Saturday, so you'll get to meet them.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Look
Yeah.
forward to it.
I can't wait to meet your family, Jeff. That's going to be awesome. Another event we have coming up is the Crossing for a Cure fundraiser and committee meeting at Duffy's on Tuesday,
What?
the 21st.
It's a 2-for-1?
It's a
a
2-for-1.
fundraiser and a committee meeting?
It's not only that, but they're going to have 2-for-1 drink specials.
It's a double 2-for-1?
Yeah, it's a double 2-for-1.
No way.
Yeah, so Duffy's in North Palm Beach will be donating 10% of all bar and food sales to Heidi K's fundraiser, which is on my team, by the way, Team Epic Love. So come out and show her some support. It's from 5 to 10 p.m. and the crossing meeting will start at 6 p.m.
Now, I think there is a competing team with you guys. It's Team Epic Hugs. There's an epic hugs
Oh.
and there's an epic love,
We know.
right? Yeah.
We know. We're aware.
So how crazy is this? This morning I went and worked out at F45. Big shout out to the F45, Jupiter, love you guys. It's a high intensity interval training studio. My wife works for F45 corporate. F45 is an expanding fitness franchise. Well, I went to F45 at 5:15 a.m., right? This has been my routine to keep me like zoned in and stable. I really don't have a lot of time to paddle right now, so just, I need to stay fit. So I go to 5:15, right? And then I drive straight to the beach. So that's it. I get out at 6 a.m. I go to the beach, I sit down, I take a breather, I wait for the sun to come up, I splash around in the ocean, and I leave, right? Guess who showed up at the beach this morning?
Moose.
Moose, your teammate.
I know.
I couldn't believe it. I was sitting down there and I got up and, I was actually, so when I got there, I was on my way over, I thought, it's really cloudy. There's not going to be as much of a sunrise. Maybe I'll just turn around and go home. I got a lot to do. And I was like, no, I really need to take the time. Just go sit. Even if I just sit there for a few minutes and breathe and jump in the ocean, it'll be good, even if there's no sunrise. Well, there was a little gap in the clouds. And when the sun came up, all that cloud coverage made the ocean like really dark and kind of gray, no color, but it was really flat calm. But when the sun started to come up, that little gap was just a tiny gap right where the sun was coming up. It could have been off to the left or the right or north or south, and it would have missed it. The gap started to turn orange, and it got brighter and brighter and brighter, and then all of a sudden, when the sun came up, it was like an eyeball, like that kind of gap, right? And like the sun came right up, and it projected this brilliant, glorious gold path. I mean, and it was like a deep orange glow. It wasn't like an overly bright color. Right to the beach. And I mean, I was sitting there and I almost like got teary-eyed because it was so beautiful. And the way it happened, it was like somebody turned on a beam, like the path to heaven, right? I mean, it was just like so powerful. And then it went up a little further, it went into it went through the gap, and all of a sudden it was gone. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I came to the beach.
Yeah.
And I got to witness that. And it was a very special moment, and then Moose showed up.
Yeah, Moose was all excited to see you. He texted me a picture of your van this morning. Everyone constantly texts me pictures of your van, by the way.
I get locked in.
Guess what? I saw a stoplight. I'm like, cool.
I need to get some in-water stickers on my van.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
One right there. We'll put it on
I gotta
afterwards.
sticker it
We'll
up.
christen it afterwards.
People they blow their horn at me all the time. They're like, I'm like, man, this van, it just works. People love the van. It's an old 2001 Ford that's rusty, clanky, it creaks and pops, it has a cracked windshield, it's like rusty and all. Like, I mean, the door literally fell off the hinge. I mean, like, this is the van, but it's still going. Sandy and salty, it's still chugging along.
I love that thing.
Yeah.
Old blue.
Old blue. Still going. Still going.
So you've been gone. You weren't here last week. Talk a little bit about where you've been for the past couple weeks. So you were in Key West, right?
Well, so Key West, we had the Key West Paddle Classic,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a phenomenal event. We had, but I was here that week.
Were you?
Yeah, I was on the show
Did we
because
talk
didn't.
about it?
Yeah, we didn't. I didn't leave with Piper until Friday morning.
Okay, sorry. never
But
mind.
it was a great event, and we had probably 15 or 20 people who had paddled in the crossing who were present. So like last year was our first appearance. We, were with our tent at the event. I had participated in the past, but so it was an introduction to that community. And they were very welcoming. A portion of the proceeds from their donation tip jar, which they did again this year, was donated from Lazy Dog. Big shout out to the Lazy Dog crew down there and Sue Cooper. And so it's amazing the shift from last year to this year, because now this year we showed up and people knew who we were. And it was really cool to have those conversations. They knew about what our purpose is, cystic fibrosis. They got to meet Piper, which was great. And we just had this awesome crew that was there who had participated in the crossing last year. So, it was great fun. And I took Piper on the biplane ride in Key West, which I recommend to anybody. There's an open air cockpit, and it's a 1941 plane. It's a biplane. And they were using it for training in World War II. And so what you do is you take off. It's only like a 15-minute ride. You go up and they circle around. And that was Piper's first time to Key West. So I really wanted to give her like a bird's eye view and perspective, so she understood what the concept number one of the event was, because it was a paddle around Key West. So you could see what was going on. But I also wanted her to see the perspective of the Keys, because I was explaining the geological formation of the Keys on the way down and what the Keys really are. And so from up there, you can really see what it is, and you get to see all the pretty water, and you get to see some wildlife, you know, out in the water. And so it was pretty awesome. But you put the head, you know, like I put a picture on my Instagram, but you have the goggles on and the head, you know.
I saw
awesome.
it. That was super cute.
Yeah.
Is she pretty brave when it comes to stuff like that?
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
She'll act like she's a little nervous, but she wants to do it.
Yeah.
She like wants to jump.
Yeah.
She wants to be the first kid in the pool.
Cool. All right. The fear never overcomes the want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
She rocks it. So that was good. And then yeah, and then last week the reason why I wasn't here was because we actually had a very special interview with Guy Harvey and his daughter Jess Harvey. So we took a very quick trip. We left Tuesday afternoon on a quick flight out of JetBlue. It's only an hour to Grand Cayman. You just jump on a flight and in 1 hour you're in Grand Cayman.
That's awesome.
And so Guy Harvey lives in Grand Cayman because he left Jamaica 20 years ago. And he raised his family in Grand Cayman. He actually told us he was considering 4 different locations for moving. He was considering Jupiter, believe it or not, the Bahamas, the Keys, and Grand Cayman.
Wow.
And he ultimately decided to go to Grand Cayman. And the reason why we were interviewing him is because he's obviously, with what they've done with the Guy Harvey Foundation, they are very aligned with our environmental stewardship policy. They're an Ocean Conservatory Foundation. And so we were interviewing him because when we met him at Surf Expo in January, I was explaining our salt supply program for getting kids out to saltwater activities for people with cystic fibrosis. And I was talking about how it's so important that the ocean is clean. You know, this applies directly to our conversation and your product and your company. You know, a kid with a suppressed immune system or an immune system that's not the integrity of it has been compromised. You know, if you put them in the water and there's a bacteria or it's dirty water, that's not good. You know, it could actually be the one tool, the ocean, the salt air and water, the one tool they have that's a healing modality that's out of the hospital. It's free, the access to it, right? Could be the one thing taken away from them because our environment, our ecology is not being cared for properly. And so Guy Harvey, in the most amazing Jamaican voice ever, that accent, he says, and I can't say it, unfortunately, I have no way to say it, his Jamaican accent, but he said, you can't put a sick kid in a sick ocean. And it was just like, he synthesized it. Now, I never knew until we went down there how amazing Guy Harvey and his family and their foundation was. But he's a true scientist, ecologist, marine biologist. That's where it started. He, you know, started as an artist as a very young kid. He got into biology for the ocean in his, you know, late teens and college years. And the art, you know, the art and the brand and everything took off kind of out of that. But that's what a lot of people see forward facing. It's like a lot of people see the crossing as this big thing. They know about the crossing. They don't know a lot about Piper's Angels and what we do. And it's that same challenge, right? So a lot of people don't know that there's over 110 published articles and papers by the Guy Harvey Foundation. That they have these incredible studies that they've done on grouper populations, on all this magnitude, this world of ecology in the ocean. And so we wanted to interview Guy Harvey and his daughter Jess, who's the project manager for the foundation, we're telling the story of the cystic fibrosis patient, the human to the ocean with the crossing, right? It's that relationship, a conscious relationship of human to ocean. They're representing a conscious relationship of ocean to human. And it's a really powerful interview. I cannot tell you, it was the best interview I've ever sat in on in my life. That was a video, like a recorded interview. I can't wait to share it with everybody. In those bits and pieces, part of what we were recording that for was we're producing a full-length feature film documentary about the crossing, the ocean, cystic fibrosis. It's an educational documentary based on the event and the foundation, what we're doing. The goal is to have it wrapped up hopefully in next year, 2020. But their interview is going to be a part of that film, and they verbally committed to participating in the crossing next year. Pretty awesome. So have them on board would be really cool to have them in our corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that sounds like a great trip.
It was really quick. You know, we were in and out. We got to spend the day with him, and like I said, I just had no idea, you know, the depth of the impact they've made through the Guy Harvey Foundation. I'm wearing their bracelet. I had a lot of bracelets given to me. I've got Piper's Angels and the Guy Harvey Foundation. And I'm committed to wearing that bracelet because, to me, our programs with salt supply don't matter if the ocean's not clean and so and healthy. And so, to me, that's the best of both worlds, the yin and yang.
Yep. Goes hand in hand.
Yep.
Amazing. Well, I think that's a good lead into our guest. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
So we have Jeff Irish here today with us, and he has, and do you have a founder with you? Is it just you that founded the company?
It was mainly me, but
Okay.
I have 2 other partners.
Okay, so he's got himself and 2 other partners who have created this amazing hidden water, and it's still water that comes in a can made from recycled aluminum versus using plastic.
Yes.
Awesome. And so I want to find out more because a lot of questions came to my head when I started looking into this product, like what is the difference between aluminum and plastic? Why is that better to put in the ocean than plastic would be?
Well, aluminum is infinitely recyclable. So it's one of the few products that can be recycled so many times and you never lose any, product quality. A plastic water bottle can never be turned into another plastic water bottle. It's going to be downcycled, is what the environmentalists call it. It's not recycling. Most environmentalists will also say that recycling plastic is kind of a wash for the environment. It makes us feel good, but the actual the ability to continue to reuse it is not there. Plastic can only be downcycled 6 times. A plastic water bottle can turn into like a shirt or like a piece of dock construction. It can't be turned into another piece of or another water bottle.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yes.
When they recycle plastic too, does it not release chemicals into the air as well while they're recycling it?
Yes, and that's why
Yeah.
the environmentalists call it a wash, because it takes so much gases and the leaching processes that go through in the downside. They think it's more at this point. We hope in the future that we'll be able to recycle it, and it's still good for the environment, but they feel it's kind of a wash at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas aluminum, if you put that in a recycling bin, the can after you're done with it today, 60 days later, it will be filled with either water, beer, and back on the store shelf within 60 days, which is
Wow.
pretty amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing. It's incredible. And a lot of waste companies actually recycle cans
Yes, yeah, even
just by practice.
yeah,
yeah.
even if they end up in the trash in Palm Beach County, they will recycle your can. It's a little bit more energy intensive, so it's not as good for the environment. You throw it in the trash versus the recycling bin.
Mhm.
Please throw it in the recycling bin if you can, but it still will be recovered and recycled if you throw it in the trash.
Interesting.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I mean okay. I've got so many questions,
Okay.
but can everybody out there see the cans? If you're tuning into Facebook Live, by the way, thank you to everybody for tuning in. Will Frost, Leanne, Jennifer, James, really appreciate the support. I love the branding. It's really simple. It's really clean. I like the cool blue.
Yes.
Is there a real name for the blue? Light blue.
Yeah, you know what? There is. I'm trying to think of it. It's not Honolulu blue, which is the Detroit Lions.
Right.
It's but there is a name for that blue, but I forget it exactly.
Okay.
I did have a graphic designer help me with it.
Yeah, no, it's great branding. I love the design. The water tastes fantastic.
It does.
Thank you.
It doesn't but by that I mean it doesn't have a taste.
Yes.
Like it doesn't. I feel like I'm drinking really good water.
Yes.
Clean and smooth
Yes.
is
Like-
the best way to describe it.
When I drink water out of the faucet from my house, it smells like chlorine. It does.
Wow.
I mean, I could definitely smell the chlorine in the water or whatever's in there. There's something, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and then Made in USA. Where's it made?
It's so we actually package it in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
So it actually comes from the Florida aquifer, which is the limestone that goes from Pensacola to Jacksonville all the way down to Miami. You can actually cave dive, and there's been some videos on YouTube where you can cave dive from Jacksonville to Miami, basically. There's water that's underneath the state.
Yeah.
And so this comes from that same water supply, but it's actually the city of Miami that takes it in, and it goes through the city pipes, comes to the factory is actually owned by Welch's, and so they package it for us, and
Gotcha.
so it's purified along the way, so it's a very pure, clean water.
We have a question from Jennifer. She wants to know, where can you purchase it?
We're in about 50 stores around town, but they're all kind of independent and wonderful places. It's places like coffee shops like Papa Kwan's, Perks and Tequesta.
I love Papa Kwan's.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Yes.
The Yankee Peddler, Amici, Palm Beach, Carmine's, Bush Wildlife's one of our biggest supporters. They're big environmentalists, and they're the governments and the environmentalists, the people who are getting behind us the most, because they realize they're not going to balk at a 10-cent price difference between plastic and aluminum. They're going to realize that the benefit to society is more important than the 10 cents that they're paying up front.
Yeah. So take us back to the very beginning, because to me, I think one of the greatest things that we can celebrate in entrepreneurism is the spirit and the courage and the daring that it takes to actually make it happen. And there's a lot of people who have good ideas, right? I mean, and ideas are kind of like gift cards. If it were just the thought that counted, they'd be a lot more expensive, right? It'd be worth if it was, but it's not. I mean, an idea is worth nothing if you don't do something or take action on it. So number one, I want to acknowledge you for being here today and making it happen as an entrepreneur, because I find that really admirable. And so at what point did it really click and then convert for you?
It goes back a few years. I live on a narrow part of the Intercoastal, right next to the Benjamin School there in North Palm. It's only about 90 yards wide. And because it's so narrow, it's actually the narrowest part in Palm Beach County. And so I'll see manatees every single day, and because they all have to go through this narrow spot. And I'll see a dolphin every month. And at high tide, I was seeing so much plastic coming by. And I have 3 boys, age 4, 6, and 8, and we'd be fishing. We catch a lot of fish because it's actually a good, keep this quiet, but it's a good fishing spot. And we'd catch a lot of fish, but they would get bored with catching so many fish, and they would start grabbing nets and catching plastic. And my wife and I are like, we live in one of the richest zip codes in America, and we're dealing with trash, throughout our waterways. And so I actually went as far as I called, executives from big water companies. I would get up to a regional manager in Atlanta or Jacksonville, wherever, and they put me on hold for 45 minutes, and I hear a click, and they didn't care. They didn't want to talk to me. I talked to a few government officials. They listened. They said they showed compassion, but nothing happened. And so my wife and I, we kept seeing it happen. We saw the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Everyone knows the plastic issue. Microplastics are in all of our fish and oysters and everything else. And my wife and I said, all right, I turned 40 this year. I'm like, I'm at the peak, hopefully the peak years between 40 and 60 of my career.
I never would have guessed that.
Me neither.
You really have a young complexion.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. It's the water. It's great.
Tell people it's the water. I love that.
So anyway, so we kind of said, all right, we prayed on it a lot. It was, we prayed, we meditated on it. We asked ourselves in the middle of the night, we was like, how do we solve this problem? I worked on Wall Street for the last 15 years as an off Wall Street trader here in Florida. And, it's all about money and just, making profits, P&L every day. And we kind of said, all right, we need to make a difference in this world. God's given us a lot. we're both well educated. We think God's given us a lot, and what can we do to make the world a better place? And we saw this; it was in our backyard where we saw it happening, and so and we saw nobody doing it. And we said, if they're not going to do it, we're here. We've got a little bit of money, a few connections, some great people around us, and can we make this happen? And so we got it rolling, and we've had so much help along the way. Lori Griffith has been amazing, friends of yours and ours, and all the restaurants and stores that took us in early as I, basically went door to door in the beginning days. We're only 90 days old, but the first week or two, we basically went door to door telling people, basically having to educate them of why aluminum is better than plastic and why there is, most people know there's a plastic problem, but I don't think most people know what they can do to make things better.
Yeah, and it's a huge challenge with the crossing that we, the event has grown substantially, right? I mean, from we're going to be bringing 85 boats and 450 people to the Bahamas. You have to pack, and you have to have a way of staying hydrated. I mean, it's probably our number one safety concern is dehydration, right? And so the challenge is not everybody can bring a 5-gallon cooler with them everywhere they go with water. When you're in Bimini, you can't even really drink the local water necessarily, as you would like in Costa Rica or Mexico. You have to just be sensitive to the fact that it's a different water system, and it could irritate your digestive tract. So we don't really have a lot of options. And the fact that, people are on boats, and this is South Florida. You're in a boating community. I mean, there's over 1 million registered boaters in South Florida. I just made that number up, but I think it's really accurate. But I mean, no, there really are, right? A lot of registered boaters, and they're out on the weekends, the weekend warriors. They're going to the Bahamas, and it's so easy to just grab bottles of plastic bottles of water, and it's made so available, and it's like, there's a bigger conversation to be had about, organizations, companies, Whole Foods, Publix, just in general, why single-use plastic to some degree is even available. Like how Florida is, New York and Florida finally coming around to the idea that California had instituted no plastic bags from the grocery stores years ago. Like, hello? The water in the ocean is why people come to Florida. Like, how do you not protect what you have? So for us, this is such a valuable tool because it's tangible. We just instituted this environmental stewardship policy because we want to have zero impact as best possible. And with people going out on boats, you got to put something in the cooler, and it needs to be individualized. It's not enough for us. And I know there's a lot of like diehard environmental focused people in our event, in our community, water people, right? It's really difficult, right? If you have your big can of water that you need to fill up, well, you got to fill that up from somewhere. All right, so then what is that? Where does that water come from? Well, does that come from a 1-gallon jug? Because that's plastic, right? Like, okay, it comes from the bigger plastic container that you put on the boat. That's the 5-gallon plastic jug that's reusable. But it's still plastic, right? And now you're putting it from there and there. Now the boat captain and the crew has to figure out a way to refill your bottle, and the boat's rocking, right, in the ocean, and you're trying to refill their bottle, and you got 1 of 4 paddlers you have to constantly refill their bottle. Where a greater solution is, hey, throw me a can of water so I can hydrate and chug it, and toss it back in the boat, put it in your recycling bag, and recycle it when you get home. I mean, I really can't express how grateful I am that this timing, David, you guys came along at the perfect time, that Lori, and everybody in this community, and we're going to get behind you and support you in a big way. I mean, 90 days old, you guys are just a baby.
We are.
I mean, really, they're an infant. I mean, I think about Piper's Angels Foundation only being 28 months old. We're like just into maybe toddler phase. We're barely going from crawling to walking. So for you guys to come out of the gate strong, number one, I think it's great alignment with where we need to be. so from an entrepreneurial perspective, from a market perspective, the South Florida market is a great place to launch this product. And we're happy to be, a force, right, behind that and behind you to make sure that plastic doesn't find its way into the waterways, anymore.
Yeah, it is like impeccable timing with this, and it's amazing. And I'm astonished that you guys are so young. And I mean, this looks like it's been around forever. And I mean, I don't know how somebody didn't think of this, but I'm glad you did. You and your family did. It's amazing. And we've actually got a comment on here from Bob Kaywood. He was a guest on the show. He does a junior achievement program with students. And he has said, hey, Jeff, our junior achievement students need to hear your entrepreneurial journey. Would you ever be willing to come speak to them when you are able?
More than happy, anytime.
Yeah.
It's the students really. It's educating the kids, and
Yeah.
they're the ones who are going to make a difference. If you teach them young, they're going to be set in the ways of aluminum and recyclability and sustainability in the future.
Right. Yeah. And Bob is such a great guy. He's actually paddling this year.
Oh, he is?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I just want to give a shout out to Bob and Junior Achievement, because when I was in middle school, there was a Junior Achievement program, and I remember thinking, like, what is this? Junior Achievement. Of course, I didn't think it sounded necessarily cool at the time. I was like, Junior Achievement, like, what are they trying to rope me into? Like, I was trying to do anything to get out of school or do whatever. I was a rebellious child, but the program that we had, it really was empowering, and Junior Achievement does a fantastic job. And you could actually take this business model, and you can go like kind of plug and play into what they do, and help teach kind of the principles of what you're doing to the kids, so that they can be empowered to employ those same practices to actually practice the entrepreneurial activities. That's kind of the whole idea behind Junior Achievement. It's very entrepreneurial focused. So I'm really glad Bob is watching. Thank you, Bob, for tuning in and mentioning that, because Jeff would be perfect.
Yeah,
I
that was.
actually taught Junior Achievement for 3 years.
Did you? Amazing.
You're making that up. You're
No, I
making that up.
swear.
And speaking of that too, you've got a contract with some local schools as well, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll sign contracts. We're in a few schools, and we're in trials for next year at schools as well. So
Gosh, you guys are 90 days old?
yeah, like I said, we've had amazing support from people like yourselves. The government, the people in the city of West Palm put us in contact with the right people, and just amazing schools. American Heritage is an amazing school. Their founder, Dr. Lori, has actually gone completely zero-use plastic, single-use plastic within their 2 schools.
Wow.
So, and their leadership there is absolutely amazing. But like, they're not having plastic bags for chips or fruit or anything. They just banned it all.
Yeah. Our goal, if I don't see a plastic water bottle on this whole crossing, I would be so happy. We're actually going to do a cleanup, in Bimini, at the beaches there locally. But that's my goal eventually. Maybe it's not this year. Maybe we'll get there next year. But my goal is I want to be able to participate in the crossing. Now, you have, obviously, in Bimini, they sell plastic water bottles, which, by the way, we need to get you plugged into the Hilton and
Yes.
plugged in over there. So, I mean, why would you even sell plastic on a little island like that, right? I mean, why would you sell plastic anywhere? But, it would be great. And I think, like, even at the beach landing this year, we're not allowed to sell on the beach. It's against the law in Lake Worth to sell on the beach. But what we can do is, if we have the water out there and available, we can take a suggested donation, and $1, whatever, and that would at least help. Maybe we can buy the product from you at wholesale, and then we can have it as a part of the suggested donation on the beach or something. It's just so that whole beach zone, there's not one plastic bottle out there, and we should have the plastic police too. We should have somebody going around saying, hey,
That would be awesome.
I see you have a plastic bottle there. Did you know? And then, maybe we should invent the plastic police for Hidden Water. And you can make some shirts, plastic police. And then at events and stuff, you can walk around and be like, why are you using plastic, sir? Don't you know about Hidden Water?
I love it.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, I mean, that would be great. if we could have that available as a resource, a sustainable resource at the beach landing this year. There's going to be a lot of people, and they're going to be really hot. It's hotter on that beach than it is in the ocean. When we're paddling across, yeah, it's warm because the sun's up or whatever, but you're in the ocean, it's moving water and the air isn't stagnant. There's no humidity. There's no land to radiate heat. The ocean's cool, so you don't feel it. But when you get close to Florida, it's like, when you get close to an oven. Like if you open an oven and, you back off, you can feel the heat differential. As you get close to Florida, you can really start to feel the heat. And it's really poor timing because you just paddled 15 hours. In the last hour, you're like heading into the beach the last 5 miles, and it just gets hotter and hotter. And then when you hit the beach, it's like going into the oven. You get on the beach and you go, oh my gosh. So if anybody's going to have a heat spell, it's going to be on the beach, not in the ocean. So it'll be great to, as a part of our Certera Wellness Cool Zone and part of the Health and Wellness Tent by the Health Career Institute, we should definitely have hidden water as a part of those too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So not only do we love your product, but I love your promise as well, which is to remove 1 piece of plastic from the ocean for every can that you sell.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's
Thank
so
you.
great.
And it's great, and it fits right into, so a lot of you out there maybe watching know this, but Tom Fusigna of the One Piece Plan, it's a grassroots initiative for picking up plastic and encouraging. We've been practicing this for the last few years, part of the crossing. When we go out and paddle, you always see something, so just at least pick up 1 piece,
Yes.
and it's not just the ocean, any waterway, anywhere, because if you pick up the piece of plastic in the parking lot out here at the Square Grouper, if you don't pick it up, it's gonna end up in the water system. Like it's gonna go right in the water. The wind, the rain, whatever, some way. So it's great that you have that alignment and even the language that you use. And I think we can really drive that home with our audience, our event, our community, and in alignment with our environmental stewardship policy and Tom Fusigna from the One Piece Plan. So that's great.
I
Good
love this water.
I do too.
I drink water all day, so this is fantastic to me. I think it's great. It tastes totally different than even the filtered water I work.
Well,
Right.
and there's something to like reaching in a cooler, or even on a boat on a
Grab
hot
a
day,
can.
and getting a can. Yeah, like I just love to crack it open. Like it might not be a beer, right, or like something, but it's still, you get that sensation, and it's kind of exciting. It's like you're opening a gift every time, right? Like you get to really, it's exhilarating to grab something and crack it
It's
open.
like that pop, just
Hold on.
let you know you're
All right,
about
hold
to be refreshed.
Hold on, let's do this. All right, you're in here. Pass.
Oh, these are the cold ones.
All right, we're gonna do this together. We're doing a hidden water cheers. This is gonna become a thing on the show. We're gonna implement hidden water cheers as a part of.
Okay, you gotta
All
pop
right.
them together.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta synchronize. All right, everybody in Facebook land, are you ready for our synchronized? It may be the world's first ever synchronized hidden water popping of the tops.
1, 2, 3.
Ah, the sound of sustainability.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay.
Oh, that one's got a little kick. And our off-camera producer is pointing and gyrating in different motions.
And it's
to-
not confusing at
Yeah,
all.
so what I believe he's trying to say is also the 6-pack ring is biodegradable and edible. And if it lands in the ocean, a turtle can eat it and be perfectly fine. And it will not
It's
end up-
fish food.
It's fish food.
That's really cool.
Uh,
I love it.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference because it's not just the plastic. It's like if a turtle or a fish gets stuck, they can't get out, and this is cruelty free.
Yeah, and these exist, people, so please use them. All
Yes.
you big corporate companies, greedy people.
Leanne said, "Let it pop," and she said, "Save me one." Leanne, you will get one. You will get plenty because you're coming to Bimini, so you'll be getting lots of hidden water. All right.
This is going to be my hidden trick to make it across the ocean.
Oh, nice.
It is.
Plan words. There's a lot of ways to go with that. Can I be a volunteer part of your marketing team?
You can.
I
I would love to hear this.
I'll go
Yeah.
all day. Just give me a little caffeine, and we'll get me in a room. You know, we can brainstorm. I've got a lot of ideas I'd love to help out with. So please, once again, if you tuned in and you're watching, check out Hidden Water on Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
We're on Instagram at The Hidden Water,
At the Hidden Water, and the website is
hidden-water.com.
hidden-water.com. And so we've got 3 minutes left in the show, so we're landing the plane here. But do you have any final shout-outs or announcements that you'd like to make?
Wife and kids, obviously. They're watching from home, I'm sure. So
Oh, I can't wait to meet them this weekend.
yes,
It'll be
yeah.
awesome.
My wife's amazing. She's probably the luckiest thing I've ever had. So she's an amazing partner and just perfect in every way. So.
A very diplomatic Oscar speech there. I like that. You are well groomed for this role. You nail it. You just get it.
Luck of the Irish.
Luck of the Irish. Oh man. Well, you can go all day with that. His last name is Irish. And you did go to Notre Dame.
I did. So I'm triple Irish. I'm ethnicity and my last name, and then the mascot of my alma mater. So
Wow.
Little
Very
known
cool.
fact, a lot of the cystic fibrosis genetic variations and people were from Northern Europe. So the majority of people with CF have Northern European descent.
I did not know that.
Yep. So we got 2 minutes left. Number one, I want to say thank you for everything that you're doing and for, taking the time to come on the show. The commitment to making this a reality. Because can you imagine, right? We're doing the crossing this year. What are our options? Really. I mean, and so, and to be honest, I've seen boxed water out there, and not like the brand, but just types of boxed water.
Mhm.
It's okay, but this makes a lot more sense.
Yep. Yeah. No, this can be completely zero waste with the E6-pack rings and the recyclability of the aluminum can. An aluminum can, you put it in your recycling bin, and 60 days later, it can already be refilled with Coke, beer, water, back on the store shelf within 60 days. Recycling bin to store shelf in 60 days.
Yeah, and people recycle cans. It's like something they do. It's built into,
Yep.
There's monetary value. So even in northern states where there's a deposit, the homeless will pick them up.
Yeah,
And in other countries, they still have a
Good
2-cent value.
yeah.
So they're picking them out of the waterways if they, God forsakenly, end
Yeah.
up there.
Brilliant. Blair, any final thoughts?
No, this is just the beginning for you. I can't wait to see what happens.
I know, I really
Exciting.
feel all warm and fuzzy.
I do too.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the water.
It is. There's something hidden inside of me about
And if it keeps you looking as young as Jeff looks, then I'm drinking it all the time.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors. We love you all. Keep it real. Keep promoting the positive. We will keep sharing inspiring stories of love through action.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, thank you. That was really nice.
Wasn't it
Yeah,
fun?
it was great.
Good. I'm glad
So,
you enjoyed
3
it.
years. Junior achievement, bro.
So how many registered posts did you say just made up?
A million.
Yeah.
What great time.
2006 was
What
922,000.
great time.
Really?
Yeah.
It was perfect.
I'm so glad.
So there's got to be a million now.
I was gonna try to interject, but I couldn't get it.
Definitely a million now.
Wow. I mean, yes.
There's only 1 million people in Long Beach County. How's there that many votes?
Sorry, 2016. It was 922,500.
In South Florida.
You might
Oh,
be
it's
I said in Florida.
Oh, in Florida. Yeah, there you go. Hey, that was pretty close.
You were
I've always been good at that. You know when you get like the jar, you gotta guess the number of marbles? I've always been really good at these like random,
You've never lost your marbles?
I've lost my marbles thousands of times.
How many gas stations in the U.S.?
Oh, man.
Ooh.
How many gas stations? Wow.
Do you actually know
that's
the
a
number?
good
You
one.
want me to look that up too?
We usually ask it for interview questions for like candidates.
How many gas stations in the U.S.? I would say,
Okay.
500,000? Lower. 250,000. Lower. Wow. Really?
88,000.
No, higher.
Well, I've seen it. It is. I think the number we usually go with is about around 40,000.
40? No, that's
in the
more.
US, they're saying more than that, huh?
Yeah.
130, so 130, 90,
168.
168,000,
Wow.
okay. All right.
That's
No.
great.
So I forgot. But no, usually it's a logic thing where you go through, you're like, all right, there's one on my street, there's three on PGA Boulevard. So, you just gotta figure it out that way. And so we usually talk through people.
Gotcha. I have no logic.